The majority of people are introduced from film and Hollywood to what a great physique looks like. I mean, nowadays in Instagram, I guess it's a little different. You have a lot of people into fitness, you have influencers. The majority of people aren't going to really find the physiques that they really aspire to from, say, physique competitions. But, you know, nowadays Instagram is becoming more popular. But really, the vast majority of people are going to be inspired by what they see on film. So today's video, I kind of want to showcase the best looking bodies on film, the best looking physiques. But I want to showcase the natural physiques because there's a lot of talk about the so-called Hollywood muscle effect, where you get an actor that they have a limited time to prepare for a role, that they do an amazing transformation in such a short period of time. So the first thing a lot of people are going to assume is, you know, steroids or something of the like. But, you know, and that may be the case in a lot of instances. But today's video, I want to showcase what I believe the top three best looking natural physiques are. Now, granted, all these guys, they have good genetics. They don't have, like, I wouldn't necessarily say genetics that could dominate bodybuilding or fitness contests, but these are probably above average genetics. But these are still something that the vast majority of people could aspire to. And I think it's important to showcase natural physiques to give somebody something realistic. Now, you're not going to look like this in 30 days or 60 days or even 90 days, especially if you've ever trained before. But this is something more long term to aspire to, because these physiques are showcased in these films. This is something universally that there's not anybody that would say these guys don't look good. Anybody would love to look like any one of these guys on the beach, and that's just a fact. But anyway, sit back and I'll go ahead and count down the top three here. Now, of course, a video like this, or any video similar to this, there's always going to be speculation, and I don't have 100% definitive proof that any of these guys were natural at the time of filming for this role or any other role. But of course, I'm going to plead the case and tell you the reasoning why I believe they were. And we're going to walk through the videos, the footage, the pictures, kind of talk about the physique, and also I'll plead the case because I believe this is very attainable naturally, and there's no reason why these guys didn't do it. So starting off at number 3 on the list, I got Henry Cavill in Man of Steel. So Henry Cavill, we all know as the Man of Steel as Superman. He's got, I'd probably say if you just go from like a pure genetic standpoint on the list, he's probably got the best genetics as far as just what he's got to work with. But, you know, a lot of people thought he looked really good in Man of Steel with his shirt off when he was trying to find some clothes on these laundry wires. I myself, when I seen that in the theater, I was impressed. I was very impressed. But there's a YouTuber called MorePlatesMoreDates that kind of does a whole breakdown on why he actually thinks Henry Cavill is natural, especially during the Superman films, and he breaks it down really good. I'll link that in the description. Check out that video when you get a chance. But let's go ahead and look at and appreciate his Man of Steel physique. So overall, he's got some really good shoulders and traps, especially. Really full chest here. Nice six pack. It's not the leanest, but in just this kind of outdoor lighting, it's never you're never gonna look super ripped in outdoor lighting. So let's keep in mind lighting can basically make or break a physique. But even in this outdoor lighting, he looks really impressive here. Here goes a picture when he's on set, just kind of get the makeup done. He actually looks more impressive right here, more later. Now, bear in mind, you're gonna look a little bit better here, a little bit better there, a little bit worse here and there, depending on the day of the shoot, the diet. The physique can change so much. I mean, I myself will easily fluctuate 5 pounds in a day, where I might look bloated, and then later in the day I could look like really lean, for example. And that's just normal. Now, going back to what I said earlier in the video, the people on my list, they didn't just do this 12-week transformation, this 1 month, this 3 month transformation. They have already had a background. If you look at Henry Cavill's physique in a prior film called The Immortals, he actually, as far as from a leanness standpoint, looked even more impressive. So he's obviously just got a good build. He's athletic. He's obviously worked out prior to this. And even reports for this film, I read that he trained 9 months just to prepare, you know, bringing his body weight from a slim 175 to much more muscular 193. Now he lost a little bit of definition, but you know, for this role, I think it helped him to look a little bit bulkier. Not that Superman necessarily is gonna have the physique of a bodybuilder, but he's definitely got to look pretty. He's got to look the part. And some of the previous actors that played Superman didn't quite look the part, in my opinion. So now the reason why I really believe he's natural for Man of Steel, I mean, his physique looks great. Don't get me wrong, it looks amazing, but it's nothing out of the realm of something that can't be achieved naturally. You're talking about a guy who's 6'1". He's a little bit under 200 pounds, so that's very achievable. He's not super ripped. He's lean. He looks great, but he's not shredded or anything. So this is actually a healthy body fat percentage, a healthy weight. And again, if it really did take him 9 months to bulk up for this, he did it in a healthy way, a way that you can do it naturally. And even prior to the training for this, in the preparation for this, he's already had a background with working out. He's already looked good, and to top it all off, he has obviously great genetics, so that's also going to help as well. So coming in at number 2 on my list is Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport. Now, Bloodsport came out when Van Damme was 28, so he would have filmed it when he was 27, definitely in his prime. Now, Jean-Claude Van Damme is by far my favorite. In fact, he's one of the guys, I'd say the main guy that inspired me at a young age to really get fit, get into martial arts, etc. Because I felt like we had a similar story of a background. Skinny kid with glasses, pretty pathetic, got picked on. And what better way to build yourself, if not just your body, but your mind and your confidence, through weightlifting and martial arts. So he obviously lives the lifestyle, and he's looked amazing for decades. Now, Van Damme really showcased full, complete development here. You'll see, like in this shot right here, his back's really well developed. He's got really great developed legs. In fact, in the last fight in the movie, you'll see him fighting in what's pretty much biker spandex shorts. Really good leg development. Great upper body overall. Good chest. Wide shoulders. Now, he specifically doesn't train his traps that heavy, he said, just because he kind of wants his shoulders to look wider. He's naturally not a really big guy. He stands about anywhere between 5'8 and 5'10. I'd say in Bloodsport, he's probably in the 180s. I believe he said he was up to 185, and that's definitely believable. He's not the leanest in this movie. In fact, I believe he actually looked a little sharper in Kickboxer, but I liked his overall look in this film a lot. So one important thing to keep in mind, this physique took a lot of time. So if he's 27 when he's shooting this, he's been training consistently since his early teens. So let's say 14 years old, for example. This is 13 years of training. Not saying it took 13 years to get here. Usually training naturally, you're going to get a lot of your gains in the first 3 years, especially, for his instance, going through puberty. I'm sure he made some massive gains early on. But then there's years of refinement. So this is something that, it's a really good looking physique that could be achieved naturally. It just takes a lot of time. Prior to this, he actually did a bodybuilding show, believe it or not, the Mr. Belgium contest, and here's a picture from that. So even more credence to the believability that he's been natural during this film, and I believe he still is to this day. Just look at the consistency in his physique going all the way back from the 80s up until now. There hasn't been like any drastic changes, which is very common for a natural physique. You're going to have your ups and downs, but it's not going to be anything like night and day. In fact, the most impressive thing you can do once you achieve a certain level of physique is basically to maintain that, and that's exactly what Van Damme's been able to do throughout the years. Here's a more recent picture of him now in his 60s, believe it or not. So number 1 on my list is Sylvester Stallone in Rambo First Blood Part 2. So Rambo 2 came out in 1985 when Stallone was 39, so he would have filmed this around the age of 38. So he's the oldest on this list, but this by far, I believe, is one of the best looking physiques on film, in any film, natural or not. Now Stallone is another favorite of mine, and I know nowadays, especially due to his age, he sees life extension doctors. He's on testosterone replacement as well as growth hormone, which, at that age, and if you have the resources where you can have a doctor monitor your health, doing it for health benefits, obviously the gym performance, the recovery, why not take advantage of that? But I'm going to go back to Rambo 2, and I did a video on that, on why I believe he was natural at the time of that. But anyway, check out that video, link at the end of this one. But let's go ahead and look at his Rambo 2 physique right now. Now, the first thing that's going to stick out, and what's by far the most impressive, is just the level of leanness he carries. Now, this isn't necessarily a level of leanness and body fat you'd want to maintain year-round. It wouldn't be healthy, but damn, does it look impressive. To get in such amazing shape, Stallone actually trained with former Mr. Olympia Franco Columbu. In fact, hired him on full-time, and basically, Franco, the only way he would take the job was, he told Stallone, you basically have to do what I say. There was some extreme training, some extreme dieting, and Franco Columbu in an interview actually said Stallone, he made sure, was not on steroids for this role. The main reason for that was he wanted to make sure Stallone looked absolutely shredded in Rambo, didn't have any kind of bloat, because he knew Rambo was more impressive and more important to be really conditioned and ripped. A lot of people equate Rambo with being on steroids, and maybe he was in future films. I don't know or not, but as far as Part 2 goes, there's no signs of it. Stallone's been training prior to this. Really started hitting his stride, I'd say, a couple years prior to this in Rocky 3. Also training with Franco Colombo. But you got to figure, Stallone's been at it for a long time. He's training with Mr. Olympia, former Mr. Olympia. The guy knows his stuff, and he's got the crazy work ethic. And let's be realistic here. He's in his 170s. Stallone's about 5'8", maybe 5'10", somewhere around that range. Being ripped at 170 is not unheard of, and that could very well be achieved naturally. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. And these three that I showcased today, which one's your favorite? Which one do you aspire to? Which one motivates you? And also, down in the comments section, some great, as far as you think, natural physiques that showcased on film. I'll do some follow-up videos. But let me know what you guys think, if not these top three, which your favorite one is. And of course, thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, hit that like button, and please subscribe. I hope to see you on the next one.